Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. I'm Clarissa Booker, your holistic health coach and beauty expert. I know how stress can derail your well-being as an entrepreneur. I'll be sharing simple strategies to reduce stress, ditch stress eating, and replace other habits while energizing your day by incorporating more plants onto your plate. With small shifts that can boost your health, happiness, and productivity. Whether you're seeking guidance with weight loss, stress release, or just a moment to recharge, I invite you to join me. Let's optimize your wellness path. So be open to receive because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Let's go. Hey there, friend. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about just being in our body and just being aware of when it's talking to us and just being able to truly tap in a little bit. You ever just had a moment when you just feel like your body's just trying to tell you something, but you just couldn't figure out what it is? Or maybe just a nagging headache that's just not going to go away, or just your gut is just talking to you and you're just not really feeling your best. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because I know this has happened to me as well as I've spoken to other people, and it's happened to them as well. Because we talk about that mind-body connection. See, our bodies and minds are not separate. They're connected with one another. Just think about if you might feel stressed out, your heart might be racing. If you're feeling anxious, you might feel those knots in your stomach, they say, right? And this just isn't random occurrences. They're just a part of the communication that's involved throughout our body. Our body is so amazing. I mean, just the other day, I woke up with just the worst neck pain that just radiated up into my head. I had a headache. My shoulders were tense. It was just so much going on. And so my body was talking to me. And so it's up to me to listen. And I had already planned out how I wanted my routine to go when in retrospect to movement. So I was I'm going to run and then I'm going to do some mat Pilates. This is what I had idea for this particular day. And so after I finished and I was about to roll out my mat, I was sitting there and I was like, man, something is not right. I'm just this, I'm not feeling it right now. Absolutely amazing practice, right? But I was just And so I had to stop. I mean, I was starting to do a roll down and I was like, you know what? This is not for me in this moment. I need to listen better. And so then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do some yoga. But then my mind went to, I'm going to do some vinyasa yoga. I wanted to go into a nice flow. Then as I was starting that, I was like, something is still not right. So I was listening, but I wasn't completely tapped in. Right? I was just still trying to have my way. So I was first I was mat Pilates, vinyasa yoga. Then I was ooh, I want to do some strength in Pilates. So I was just my mind was just going into all these things about what I wanted. I wasn't listening, right? I wasn't just fully present within myself right then. The moment I was just on my own agenda and this is what I want. Then I was you know what? I need to do some yin. I just need to get in there and just release and not just feel so good. Let the fascia release, just get that really ingrained stretch going on. And so when I finally released and allowed that to happen, it was just an amazing practice. It was just yin is yummy right now. This is what I needed. But I had to sit there and allow myself to really just tap in and just get out of my own way pretty much. Have you ever been in your own way? Okay, this is what I was doing. And then after my yin session, I think I did about 20, 30 minutes, somewhere in there. Concept of time is kind of lost in this moment. But all I know is I felt so good. My body felt so relieved because that's what I needed. And then I ended it with stillness. I went into a meditation and that's just what I needed in that moment. So then allowing myself to be still in this meditation and then with my breathing, I was doing a light breath work in this moment. My mind just started calming down. Whatever chatter was going on that I didn't even realize because I was just going, right? It was the calmness that became, right? So when I sat down and allowed myself to be and listen, My neck pain dissipated. I didn't have a migraine and all of these things. And I got the release I needed in my body because everything is just held there. And I felt so good. And this is just an example with myself of listening and tapping in. Like our body has its own language, so to speak, its own way of communicating with us. So we just have to take the time to tap in and learn what our body is saying to us. And this can take patience and some practice. So all of these tools that we talk about doesn't mean your life just magically falls into place, right? But what we do have are ways to come back to center. So whenever something is happening, we can come back to that place of calm, or our body can be more in alignment instead of just going up and up and up and up. There's the science aspect and there's the spiritual aspect, and blending both of those together is beautiful, right? Because even with science, it can show that research is showing that our emotional state can trigger specific physiological responses. So when we're stressed, our body releases cortisol and adrenaline. And these hormones can affect everything, right? Our digestion, our sleep, just all of the things. And understanding these connections, it can help us interpret what our body is trying to tell us. So some common signals our body can send us are, for one, like digestion, I mentioned. So our second brain, our gut can tell us about our emotional and physical state, like those butterflies in our stomach. So stress can disrupt the communication and lead to bloating, cramps, inflammation. It may also lead to leaky gut syndrome, where toxins and undigested food particles enter our bloodstream. It can slow down our digestion. So what we can do is add fermented foods in. So finding which ones work for you. You can also use Ayurveda to help with gut health as well. So finding which ones help you feel more balanced. Maybe you like kimchi or miso, just playing around with different foods. So if you're not incorporating any of these into your diet now, just experiment. Make food fun. Don't make it stressed out. Don't make it like I have to do this and that. Just find what works for you. We don't want to upset your digestion anymore, right? And prebiotics for nourishing your gut, like garlic, onions. Garlic and onions can add layers of flavor to your food. Yes. Having more anti-inflammatory foods. So as we go back to adding more plants onto our plate, like those leafy greens, berries, omega-3 rich seeds, like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp. So sometimes whenever I am making a smoothie, like after I'm working out, I personally will put protein powder in there, plant-based protein powder, and then I'll put like flax seeds and chia seeds in there. That will up my omega-3s, okay? There's so many things you can do, just finding out what works best for your body. Because if something doesn't work, don't make yourself eat it. Find something else, right? There's so much stuff out there. And honestly, whenever you're eating more plant-forward, more plant-based, there are more variety. There is so much more variety than just putting a piece of chicken on your plate. Chicken is boring. And you have to put a lot of stuff, a whole lot of seasoning on chicken for it to taste like something. Okay? It's not fun at the end of the day. Just sometimes people are used to eating it. But it is a new time for you to expand your palates. All right? And then even mindfulness and meditation practices, all along with like what I was talking about earlier, that helped me when I had all that pain. That also helps with your gut, right? It's calming and soothing. The yoga, the breath work, all around mindfulness is just excellent for you to have as a part of your lifestyle, a part of your everyday life. Yes, it is. All right. Also, muscular tension. I mean, I'm an example of that. All right. Which is one of the reasons I initially started yoga. I don't know. I want to say about 15 years ago, give or take, something like that. I don't know. It's kind of a blur. I might be aging myself a little bit, but I still look good. So it is okay. So I think that was it. Yes. I mean, that is why, because I would work out, but I felt like this pain, and I would see them practicing yoga whenever I would be in the gym, and I'll be like, I don't know about this. And then one day God just led me to yoga. I was just like, and I don't know, did I do it in the studio first or at home? I mean, at one time, I think I had a subscription to like every yoga app back then. There's way more now, but I had a lot of them. And I just felt so in love with it. The meditative feeling that I got, because back then I didn't practice meditation. And my back pain at the moment, it was just really wonderful. I would focus on poses that helped my lower back, because even though I was working out and I strength trained, I still had like this back pain thing going on there, right? I was probably kind of stiff. And then there was that stress relief and anxiety relief component to the mindfulness that I didn't even know I needed back then. I mean, it was just a wonderful experience that now, obviously, I still do to that day. And also, there's breath with Pilates. So it's just, there's so much goodness out there for us. Yes. Okay. And so that muscular tension can manifest and take form in like the shoulders, the neck, the back, just different areas for different people. I mean, your hands might be cramping. There's just this stiffness that can happen in our bodies. And it's not just about poor posture. That can be one thing, but our body just holds everything inside of it. It's so amazing when you think about it. Everything is intricately connected. And it's our body's way of physically carrying our emotional burden when you think about it. Because I was like doing all the things back then. I was all over the place. I was working too much and just yada, 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 right? And this was the result of everything. I wasn't taking care of myself completely. I was taking care of myself, but there were components that were missing, okay? And thankfully, I found these, or it found me. I was led to them. I guess that's a better way to say it. And I'm just very blessed to have this, which is why I love sharing it, because it's amazing. Yes, it is. Okay. And then also, third, sleep patterns. So changes on our sleep can definitely be powerful indicators of our overall well-being. And you might not even notice. You might be like, well, why am I not sleeping today? I've had a couple of days where I didn't sleep. You might not even notice that something is going on. Your body is talking to you. So it could be trying to tell you something about your stress levels or your daily habits, like something's not quite sitting right. So allow yourself to go to sleep. Allow yourself that time. So don't be like, I only need 4 hours. No, you need more than that. Come on, you know you do. So sometimes we try to convince ourselves of things to just get something done, to just push through, right? Just like, I'm good. I'll deal with that later. No, you're going to pay for it in other ways. And honestly, you will perform better when you are well rested. And you know this, right? You do. And so allow yourself that whatever it is, set it aside. Whatever you're doing, do it efficiently. You have to do things in a certain way. So do it efficiently and give yourself that. And if something happens, you need to work it in somewhere, but you cannot take away from yourself. You deserve that nurturing that you give to others. You give it back to yourself, because a lot of times we care for everybody else and we put ourselves last. But it's just like the infamous flight situation when you have to put your mask on first, right? Because if you don't, you will be depleted. That doesn't mean you don't care about your family, but you do have to take care of yourself. And then you can be more present. You won't be snappy. You won't be just like dragging along. You'll show up better, right? I know you've experienced that. Have you? So going back to the mindfulness, meditating before you go to sleep. Okay, so you can sit down, you can have your area made up, you can go into a meditation, you could even use your imagination to formulate how you want things to be. Just sit there for a couple of minutes and just calm yourself and be like, and see things as if they are how you want them to be. And take that with you into your meditation. Just visualize it and just use your imagination, just formulate it and just feel it. And just feel it into your heart center. Be like, yes. And then just allowing whatever thoughts there are to come up. So releasing whatever there is that's going on. that's keeping you from sleeping, that's having your digestion mess up, all of these things, and then journaling it out, allowing whatever to come up. Just write sloppy, do it messy, put some music on if you want, and just be. And then using our breath. It's just something we do automatically. It's just a powerful tool we have that's always there, and it just helps you connect to your body. Like when we're anxious, our breathing can become shallow. Have you ever noticed that? Like, and where are you breathing? Into your belly? Are you breathing into your chest? Just, breathe into your belly. Feel your belly rise, and lower. And when you're relaxed, it can become more rhythmic, more calming. And by consciously controlling our breath, we can actually influence our emotional and physical state. You notice that? Like even whenever we are engaging in movement, it can help us perform better. Not holding your breath. It can help you propel. It can help you focus, right? It's so powerful. So sometimes, even after trauma or prolonged stress, we might experience physical numbness or just disconnection from our bodies. And this is our body trying to protect us, right? But it also can prevent us from receiving important signals from our body that is trying to send us. They're like, hey, look at me, I'm over here. And through these practices and the mindful movement, different mindfulness practices, being one tool there, we can begin to reconnect and restore that vital communication. So even if you're doing talk therapy, which is amazing, there's the other components along with it. There's so many different things we can do to love on ourselves, to do that healing. So some practical steps, right? Some simple steps to help you develop that body awareness within yourself. Start with some morning check-ins. So you can start your day with a brief body scan. Like, how does your body feel today? When you wake up, how do I feel in this moment? Is there any tension anywhere? Do I just notice anything? My energy? You can send some breath into that area. Just being there in that moment. And then with that, doing some mindful movement, especially if you're feeling that tension. It could be yoga, tai chi. There's just so much stuff out there. You might want to go for a walk. Just moving with awareness can help us strengthen our connection to our body. There's issues in those tissues, right? And just ending your day by noting the patterns you observed. You can start and end your day with your journaling. There is not an ideal time to journal. It is just there for you all the time, okay? So taking note of that. What made your body feel good? What caused tension or discomfort? And this will just start helping you become more in tune with yourself. Yes. And the more you do things, the more you notice. Then you can release. It's allowing it to go. Sometimes people don't even notice that they're tense until you start getting in there. You ever had a massage and you'd be like, oh, it's just, I'll just say my neck is tight. And then they start getting, and you'd be like, oh, is that my hip? What happened there? And it's just like all tensed up. Right? Letting it all go. So there can be challenges along the way. It's just life, right? So busy schedules, old habits as you're still moving into this new version of yourself that you are in now, claiming it in this moment. This is who I am. Take that into your visualization. Or just sometimes you just forget. We got a lot of things going on. So the key is to approach this journey with patience and compassion. I will never stop saying that, all right? Because sometimes we forget stuff, especially if you've been living the same way for many, many years. It's just like a wellness or a weight loss journey. If you've gradually put on weight over the last 5 years, you cannot go into a claim that you're going to lose all that in 2 weeks. It's not sustainable. And then I will question how that's going to happen because your health comes first. You want it to be doable, right? So giving yourself still time to take that off what you put on, doing it in a loving, compassionate way to yourself. And this is with all things in life, because the way we're doing one thing is the way we're doing other things. And these habits will percolate other ways as you change your identity, being that new powerful version that you are, as your body has all kinds of wisdom in there. It's been with you that whole time. You're just going through all them things, all right? And it's going to be with you and give you the care and strength you need towards improving your wellness, towards elevating you to that higher version of yourself, vibrating higher and higher and higher each and every day as you get this more fulfilled life. Let's close with these questions. Remembering a time when your body was trying to tell you something important. What were those signals and how did you respond or react to them without judgment? What patterns have you noticed in your body's response to stress, joy, or other emotions? Which area do I feel in this moment needs more attention in my life right now? Could it be sleep patterns, a stress response, or something else? And then as I reflect over all these, if anything's sticking out for my attention, is it true? And do I know it to be true? I hope this blessed you today. In love. Until next time.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you for listening to my mom's podcast. Leave a 5-star review.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and are feeling empowered in your journey towards a thriving well-being. Also, share this episode to someone you know this will bless, as that's how we spread the message. And don't forget just to take 30 seconds to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts by scrolling down the show page and clicking write a review because it also helps us grow. I appreciate you taking the time to show us support.